This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Sterling K. Brown from the Hulu original series Paradise. The next chapter begins as Xavier's search for his wife takes him above ground, and what he finds will change everything. It was never just about the bunker. Tune in and discover the truth lies outside. Paradise, the official podcast, premieres February 16th, and stream Paradise on February 23rd on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to welcome you to the new and improved Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast. After many years of interviewing the best and brightest thought leaders around the world on my SiriusXM show, I am excited to now have those interviews available to people around the globe on this podcast. So many people would write us and say, I love what I've been hearing about your interviews with these great people. Where can I access them? I live in this country or that country, or I don't have access to that technology. How can I get the information? Well, I'm so excited now that we are able to offer the information and the interviews free on this podcast. So we want you to sit back and enjoy this message and let me know how you like them. And then do me a favor. If you like them, send a review, write a review and post it. And if you like it, hit like on here and share it and tell everybody you know about it, and then subscribe to this podcast so you'll get the alerts when we post a new interview episode. Thank you for listening and enjoy the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast.
Named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world.
Inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame.
Award-winning singer.
Best-selling author.
And now, here's Willie Jolley.
Hey, it's another great day. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to ask you, how do you start in Mississippi, in a small area of Mississippi, and you become one of the greatest icons in talk, in philanthropy, and in impact as an activist that the world has ever seen? Today, you're going to learn from my dear friend, Tavis Smiley, how he has built an empire and using simple procedures and simple systems to do it. Well, folks, you know I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, I can't refuse it. I didn't seek it. I did not choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer. If I lose it, give account. If I abuse it, oh, it's just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. And I'm grateful for this minute, this moment, this opportunity. I'm grateful for each and every one of you, wherever you may be, whether you're listening on the radio or on the podcast, who have made this the #1 self-help show in America, as well as made the podcast one of the top 5% of downloads globally. So I'm grateful for all of you telling your friends, your family members, your coworkers. You got to listen to the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way show. And then I'm thankful for our sponsor, Truist Bank, 2 great banks, BB&T and SunTrust. They came together to create a greater bank, a more powerful bank. And they built it on one principle: care. And when you start with care, you build a different kind of bank, Truist Bank. And last but not least, you know, I do it in every show. I give God some glory. I give God for strength and health. I give God glory for just letting me have life. And then to have for 20 years to be on this show for XM for 20 years and to be able to do what I do and be blessed to speak and write books. It's God's glory. It's to his glory, and I give him praise. So we take a moment for gratitude, and I say it every week. God's gift to you is life. Your gift to God is what you do with your life. So do something extraordinary, exciting with it. Well, my special guest today is somebody you know. You know, some folks, they can go with one name, Beyonce and Madonna and Cher. The same is true for this gentleman. His name is Tavis, and people know Tavis globally. He is the managing editor and host of the nationally syndicated Tavis Smiley show, heard in Los Angeles on KBLA Talk 1580. And that's the flagship radio station of Smiley Audio Media Incorporated. He's a recipient of the highest honor in the talk radio industry, the coveted Freedom of Speech Award. Tavis is listed perennially on the Heavy 100 list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in the nation. He's a New York Times bestselling author, advocate. He's a philanthropist. He is a recipient over 20 honorary doctoral degrees. The Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award has been honored with a star. That's a big deal. Star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and recognized by Time magazine as one of the world's 100 most influential people. And he's my friend and my guest today, Tavis Smiley. Welcome, Tavis.
You could have just said Joyce's boy, and I would have been okay with that, Willie.
Okay, so tell me this story.
Yeah.
Where did this guy come from? I mean, I've known you for years, but I didn't know where you were born, how you came to be who you are today. Please give us some thumbnail sketch of that.
Yeah, so born in Gulfport. I'm born right there on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, the beautiful Gulf Coast.
Yes.
My mother was born in Mississippi, so my mother was born there and was working in the mess hall. Father was stationed at an Air Force base down there called Keesler Air Force Base. Long story short, my mom's working in the area. My dad is stationed there. They end up connecting, and the rest, as they say, is history. But I'm born in Mississippi when I was just 2, not even 3 years old yet. My father got transferred to an Air Force base in Indiana, and our family began to grow. So I am one of 10 kids. I've got 9 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
8 boys total, 2 girls. And so our family over time became so large that unlike most military families who move around from place to place to place, and they call us military brats, as you well know.
Right.
But our family was so big, Willie, the Air Force said, we ain't paying to move that many Negroes from place to place to place. So unlike most folk in the military, we got stuck in Indiana. And I've thought about that many times over the course of my life. On the one hand, I did not get to travel and see the nation and see the world like a lot of military families do.
Right.
On the other hand, because I was, on an Air Force base, I saw families come and go, and I made friends for a year or two, and then they got shipped out. And so I know the heartbreak and the pain that kids feel when they make friends and they have to move to a new city and make friends all over again. So right. It kind of cuts both ways. But anyway, that's the short version. Born in Mississippi, raised in Indiana, went to Indiana University, and can I just say, go Hoosiers?
Oh my goodness, what a turnaround! Go Hoosiers! Wow, so you went to IU. Wow,
that's right. I'm still celebrating the big victory in the national championship game the other night, and I say this with humility, not to brag, but you mentioned those honorary doctorate degrees, 20 or so that I've been blessed to receive over the course of my career. One of them, and the one that means the most, was from my alma mater, Indiana University. It turns out that some years ago, when they invited me to be the commencement speaker, somebody did some research, and I am the first African-American graduate of Indiana University who was honored with the invitation to give the commencement address and receive an honorary doctorate. Wow. So one of those honorary doctorates is from my school, Indiana University, and so I was thrilled, of course, when they won recently the national championship. So we're still celebrating that.
I'm sure. Okay. Yeah. So you leave Indiana University. What was your degree in?
I majored in the school I was in is called the School of Public and Environmental Education. We call it SPIA. Okay. And my majors were law and public policy.
Okay. But how did you make this transition into talk? How did you become such an iconic talker? I mean, how did that happen?
Yeah. So I graduated Indiana University. I moved to Los Angeles to work for Tom Bradley, the late great mayor of this city, where I sit right now. Tom Bradley, of course, the first African-American mayor of the city. We now have Karen Bass, the first woman and the first black woman, of course, mayor of LA. She's in a re-election campaign fight right now. But Tom Bradley was the first. I came out here during my junior year of college at IU to intern for Tom Bradley.
Okay.
Stayed here for a semester, but fell in love with the city, fell in love with the mayor. I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. The Alpha chapter is at Indiana University.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes, I pledged in our Alpha chapter. Tom Bradley was a Kappa.
Okay.
And so here we are, many years between us, but I'm a Kappa, he's the mayor, I'm an intern. But we hit it off rather nicely. And at the end of my internship, Mayor Bradley made me a deal. He said, Tavis, if you go back to Indiana and you graduate, once you graduate, come back here and I'll get you a job working in my office.
Wow.
I took him up on that. I went back to Indiana, finished up my coursework, and came back to LA. And Tom Bradley kept his word. It didn't happen right away. When I came back, this is during the Reagan era. When I came back, there was a hiring freeze on in LA, not unlike a lot of cities, because Reagan, as you know, not to be political, wasn't so kind to urban cities.
Right.
And so LA was in some financial trouble. So the mayor couldn't hire me right away. So I had to kick around for a year and a half or so, doing odd jobs and all kind of things. But I was determined that whenever that opportunity arose, I was going to take advantage of it. So eventually the hiring freeze is lifted. The mayor calls me and says, Tavis, now I can hire you. I went to work for Tom Bradley, and that's how my career got started. Worked for the mayor for a number of years, and then made the transition from politics to media. I mean, when I'm working for the mayor, I'm speaking all the time. I'm representing the mayor. I'm deep into policy discussions. So politics is in my blood. Again, I studied that when I was at Indiana University, public policy. But after a certain point, I've been with the mayor for a while. I pivot into the media. Starting here locally in LA, and before you know it, I'm on BET and Tom Joyner, and everything starts to unfold, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Well, you've created a world-renowned brand that is powerful. That people know your name, they know you're a straight shooter, and that you're going to tell the truth as you see it, and you're going to be a communicator to try and help people. And that's what I've been impressed with. But also, you're not just a talking head. You also have an entrepreneurial part of your life. There's an entrepreneur. Were either of your parents entrepreneurs? Where did the entrepreneurial zing or spirit, where did you pick that up?
It's a good question. And I never quite thought about it as entrepreneurial pursuits, but indeed they were. So here's the short version. My mother is a great baker. She's a great cook to begin with. She's from Gut Bucket, Mississippi, so she can, as they say, she can put on the pots. She can Joyce can put on the pots.
Right.
An amazing cook, but also loves to bake. And so, because I'm one of 10 kids, and our family was a very poor family, my mom would bake and sell. So my mom essentially becomes an entrepreneur, baking and selling her goods.
Okay.
My father was in the Air Force, as I mentioned, and he couldn't take care of, 10 kids. My mother, himself, there's 10 kids plus 2 adults.
Right.
And at one point, my grandmother, who we call Big Mama, came to live with us. So my dad was the breadwinner for a family of 13 people.
Wow.
It's hard to do that on an Air Force salary.
Right.
So my father started a little company called Smiley and Sons. It was a custodial service.
Okay.
And every day after school, my siblings and I would work with my dad to clean offices on the Air Force Base and some offices off of the Air Force Base. My dad started a little company called Smiley and Sons, and so we were the employees of Smiley and Sons, whether we wanted to be employees or not.
Yes.
And so the income from that entrepreneur pursuit, along with my mother baking and selling, with my dad's Air Force salary and mostly the grace of God, got us through all those hard years. So there's an answer that I hadn't really thought about in that way. So yes, my mom was an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
My dad was an entrepreneur. And so it happened. It's happenstance. And the same thing happened to me. I mean, I didn't start out to be an entrepreneur. I started out because I love politics. I thought my future would be in elective office. Didn't quite turn out that way. I ended up in the media. And once I got into the media, it became very, very clear to me. And I started making friendships with, some pretty amazing people. And it became clear to me that if I'm going to be in this space, I ought to own my content. One of the first persons to teach me about that was Prince, the late, great artist Prince, one of my best friends. And Prince would always say to me, Tavis, content is king. Content is king. Whatever you do, own your content. And frankly, because of the friendship with Prince and his urging, I went about owning my content. So I own my books, and I own my radio content. 15 years on PBS. PBS distributed my show, but I own that library, that catalog, which still makes money for me. I own that entire catalog. I'm sitting in a building right now in Leimert Park. I built my own office building 25 years ago. I own my office building.
Wow.
The radio station that I was honored to have you as a guest on KBLA Talk 1580. Yes. Our station the other day. This is my radio station. So that I've been, because of Prince primarily and others, I figured if I'm going to be in this space, I ought to just own the content. And I thank Prince for encouraging me to do that. And finally, on the entrepreneurship piece.
Hold that thought. I want to come back to that. I want to get the rest of this because this is so rich. Yeah. I want people to hear the whole thing. So, folks, this is Dr. Willie Jolley with my special guest, Tavis. Oh, y'all just know him, Tavis. But Tavis Smiley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. And for sure, the best is yet to come. We'll be right back.
Friendship is not about being convenient. It's about being committed and consistent.
I am excited to announce that my new book, Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better, is finally here. And the response has been incredible. People are buying this book like crazy. If you want to be wealthy but need help getting there, or you need help to educate your children to keep them from squandering your hard-earned money, then you need this book. Go to richisgoodwealthyisbetter.com. richisgoodwealthyisbetter.com. Don't delay. Get copies for everyone in your family today. Hey, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and support for the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show and podcast comes from Truist Bank. When you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. When you become a homeowner, your future starts to feel different. That's power, knowing you could be creating generational wealth to pass down. Truist believes that a path to home ownership exists for you. I hear people say, well, I don't see how I could ever own a home. Truist has programs that could help you buy a home with a lower down payment than you might expect. And their professional guidance helps you build belief that home ownership is within reach. Connect with a Truist teammate to learn about options that are available to you. They will listen to your goals and follow through. Reach them by calling 855-562-1579. Do this for your family and your legacy. That number is 855-562-1579 or visit truist.com/homebuyer. That's truist.com/homebuyer. Certain programs and geographic restrictions may apply. Contact a loan officer for details. Truist Bank is an equal housing lender. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way show and podcast. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you who share this. When you go to the podcast, if you're listening, do me a favor. Would you follow me? Will you share it? Will you make sure to connect and to comment? Share and connect and follow on every podcast and make sure that you are part of our community whenever we get one of these great guests like we have today and these great informational sessions. And then I want you to go to winwithwillie.com, winwithwillie.com. So you'll get access to all my websites and all my resources. And then you'll actually get information on my brand new book, Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better. And it is getting terrific reviews. Want you to get it. If you get it online, then leave a review after you've read it. Well, my special guest is an iconic media host, policymaker, advocate, activist, philanthropist, and thinker. His name is Tavis Smiley. I'm honored to have him. Last time I saw Tavis in person, I was in LA speaking, and I had gone, I don't know why I was in this neighborhood. It was a high-end neighborhood, and I see this guy, and he's going into his house. And I said, that's Tavis. And I said, hey, Tavis. He said, Willie. And we chatted for a moment. Yeah. And so I'm glad to have him today as my guest. Okay, Tavis, you were telling the story about how you were, let me review for those who are joining us. You were born in Mississippi, grew up in Indiana, one of 10 children. Your dad was in the military. You were what would have considered a military brat, but you, because of the size of your family, stayed in Indiana rather than going to Germany or wherever. And then you went to IU, Indiana University. Woohoo, go Hoosiers! And then you went to you were interning in LA for Tom Bradley, and he said if you graduate and come back out here, I'll find you a job. Well, you graduated, came back, but it wasn't immediate because of a job freeze. But you found a way. Now I don't want to slide by that because see, you could have said, "Oh man, I ain't got no job. I'm going back home. This ain't what I promised to be. I didn't sign up for this." So you had to hustle. You had to scrimp, save. You had to do some hard work. You might back in that day you would have had to do. Wasn't no Uber back there or no Instacart, but you would have done it if there was. You did that kind of work to make sure you survived till there was an opportunity. Am I right about it?
You are right. You speaking truth to power,
right.
or to the powerless in this instance. But no, I remember vividly when you said that, my mind went back to a day when I was in that phase. I'm here in LA. Tom Bradley's offered me a job. I'm waiting to start this job. The hiring freeze is on, and I'm literally bouncing between anything I can do to make some money. I kid you not, 3 times during this period of a year and a half, almost 2 years, my landlord put an eviction notice on my door. So 3 times I'm thinking I'm about to be evicted. And one day I'm on the phone with my mom back in Indiana. And I said to her, Mom, things are just not working out. And I hate to say this, but I think I'm going to have to come back home and just kind of regroup and figure out what's next. It's been almost, a year and a half, 2 years, and this hiring freeze is on. I'm running out of options, and I've got the 30 eviction notice on my door. I said, I may have to come back home. And she said, well, I love you, and you can always come home. And my mother was just so gentle in that moment.
Yes.
And then a friend of mine called. He was an entrepreneur here in Los Angeles. As a matter of fact, he owned a number of McDonald's franchises.
Wow.
He was a dear friend of mine, and he called me and asked me, he was just checking in on me because he knew I was having a hard time. Right. And I said to him, I just talked to my mom, and I think I'm going to have to head back to Indiana and try to regroup. And he said something to me that I've never forgotten. He said to me, because he could tell that I was in this spirit of giving up. He said, I want to just say one thing to you. And I said, what's that? He says, I am not going to give up on you until one day after you give up on yourself. I'm not giving up on you until at least a day after. Wow. You give up on yourself. And that hit me so hard. It humbled me, Willie, for him to have that kind of confidence in me. He said, I believe in you. Wow. I believe in you. I'm not giving up on you until at least one day after you give up on yourself. Wow. In that moment, I kid you not, I could hear Gladys Knight and the Pips warming up. L.A. proved too much for the man. He couldn't make it. He's leaving the life he came to know. He said he's going. I could hear Gladys Knight and the Pips warming up, man. I thought that was it. And so, long story short, I got in the shower after these 2 phone calls. And I'm in the shower and I am crying crocodile tears. I don't want to give up on LA. I don't want to get on that midnight train to Indiana. Right. And so I'm in the shower, I'm crying. And at that very moment, Willie, LA had a major earthquake. Wow. I've never experienced an earthquake. I was in LA, but had never experienced an earthquake. I'm in the shower, I'm slipping and I'm sliding with soap and water all around that shower. I am scared to death. Yes. But in that moment, Willie, I could hear God speak to me as clearly as I hear your voice right now. Yes. And God said, it ain't over until I say it's over. Wow. Wow. Not over until I say it's over. Wow. I heard his voice as clearly as I hear yours right now. I got out that shower. I got myself together, and I kid you not, the very next day, Tom Bradley called me because the hiring freeze had been lifted. Wow. Woo, folks. I went to work for Tom Bradley, and again, the rest, as they say, is history. Look, folks, I want to make sure you don't slide. See, that's why the Lord told me to go back to that, because there was something in there that I wanted to pull out a little more. Many of you who are listening are in a low place, in a tough place, and you're ready to give up. And you just heard Tavis say his mama said you can come back, but his friend
He believed in him. And when I was on the Get Motivated tour, I used to tell people that when I was struggling and when I didn't know how I was going to make it as a speaker or an author, I'm brand new. People are hanging up in my face. Someone said to me, I believe in you, and go on my belief in you till yours kicks in.
That's it.
That's it. Just go on mine till yours kicks in. And that's what that kept me going until I got that first little contract to speak for young people in DC public schools. And I got another little contract, and it made me survive. And then it continued to grow and continued to prosper. And so Tavis said that next thing is that he listened to God. Now, folks, I said at the beginning of my show, you ain't got to believe like I believe, but I know that there's a God. I know what he's brought me through and how he has been with me, and he has touched me and has encouraged me. And so I trust God. I've got a point in my life where I just trust him when stuff is jacked up. I wrote a setback as a setup for a comeback. And
love that book. Love that book, man. I love that book.
Thank you. And in that book, I say that you're going to have setbacks, but don't give up, because God ain't through with you yet. And that setback is not the end of the road. It's just a bend in the road. Have faith and keep going. Well, Tavis Smiley, you let's go back to you thought media. How in the world do you make that shift? You do BET and all that, but how do you build this global brand? I think part of it is just being good. Okay. Being good.
Yeah. I am blessed. No question about that. I worked for Tom Bradley for a number of years. Once that hiring freeze got lifted, I went to the mayor's office, worked with them for a number of years, learned a great deal, and eventually struck out on my own because I was making so many media appearances on behalf of the mayor.
Yes.
I've been at IU. I should back up. I was on the debate team. I was a national championship debater at Indiana University. I'm on the debate team, and I'm working for Tom Bradley. I'm every time he can't go somewhere, he sends me. So I'm basically a sort of a junior deputy mayor, if you will.
Yep.
And so I was in media spaces all the time, speaking on behalf of the mayor.
Yes.
And so I got better at this and realized that might be my true calling.
Yes.
So long story short, I pivot to the media space. I started with a 1-minute radio commentary that I did every day on a local station.
Right.
And my tagline at the end was "Just a thought, I'm Tavis Smiley." It's only a 1-minute piece. So that was my tag. Just a thought, I'm Tavis Smiley. That little 1-minute radio commentary got so popular here in LA that it just opened doors to me. And before I know it, I'm not just doing a 1-minute radio commentary. Now I'm on talk radio. And then something else happens and I got my own show on talk radio.
Right.
And I get another phone call and now I'm doing commentary during the 5 o'clock news live on television.
Wow.
On the #1 TV station for news here in Southern California. Next thing I know, the Rodney King beating happens in LA. The national news media descends upon LA to start covering this national story. And when they come to town, everybody says, we want to talk to somebody about this thing. Who should we talk to? And everybody kept saying there's a black kid named Tavis who's on local radio. This guy's really good. And so everybody starts coming to me for commentary about the Rodney King thing. And then I look up one day and the O.J. Simpson case is jumping off. The national news media comes to L.A. to cover the O.J. case. They want to talk to me. And that leads me ultimately to having my own show on BET. I was doing so much national media as a guest.
Yes.
I got my job on BET. And there's a very quick, funny story behind this that I know you'll appreciate. I know you'll want to tease this out. But I got my BET show. So BET is my first national television show. I got my own TV show.
Okay.
On BET. Most folks don't know how that happened, though. They know me from BET. They know me from Tom Joyner and they, before PBS and NPR and all that stuff. But the backstory is very, very simply this. BET had decided really they wanted to do a late night talk show.
Right.
And they had about 20 people on a list who they were interested in doing this show. This is not the way you launch a show, but this is what BET was doing anyway.
Right.
They got 20 people, and on that list was Queen Latifah, Snoop Dogg, a bunch of big name, high profile people. I was nobody at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But I made their list because they'd seen me doing all these national interviews around Rodney King, OJ. Who's this Tavis guy?
Right.
In fact, they were calling me Travis. They didn't even know my name was Tavis, right? Who's this Tavis guy? So BET has me on this list. They call an agent who knows me here in LA She says, Tavis, BT is starting a late night talk show. They're looking for a host. Are you interested? And I said, nah, I really don't want to go to DC. I'm in LA. I don't want to go for an audition. I'm not interested. I turned them down. They called a second time. I turned them down. They called my agent the third time, said, can he just come here for a week? Here's what we're going to do. We're giving everybody 1 week to audition. So you're going to host a show for a week. You're going to run through this list. And at the end of going through all these 20 people, we'll choose who we want to host this show.
Hold that thought. We're going to come right back. This is so good, folks. That's a cliffhanger. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. We're going to take a break for station identification on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way show and podcast. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I got an email from a gentleman in Australia who shared how he had been struggling in his business, and he bought some of my books and audios, and how it had a profound impact on his business, and he went from worst to first in his company. I shared with him how much I appreciated his note, but I told him those books, those audios, those videos were not just something that I just thought up one day and started to write. They were born out of my experiences, out of the challenges of overcoming the problems and the difficulties and how I was able to do it. And I shared with him that others have sent similar messages and that these resources work. I want to encourage you and invite you to go to my store. Go to wjspeaks.com/shop. wjspeaks.com/shop. Get some of the books. It only takes a minute to change your life. Or a setback is a setup for a comeback. Or turn setbacks into greenbacks. Or chicken soup for the soul. Or an attitude of excellence. Or the book I wrote with my wife after 34 years of being married and not having an argument in over 30 years. We wrote a book called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. And now it is saving marriages all over the globe. Go to the store, get some of the audios, the videos, the books, the resources to help you have greater personal and professional success. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Make this a great day on purpose. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way show and podcast, heard around the globe. And again, if you are listening on the podcast, thank you. I want you to subscribe and follow and then make sure you make a comment and share. I want to take a moment before we get back to this intriguing story with Tavis Smiley to talk about Truist Bank and thank them for their sponsorship. If you're a longtime Wealthy Ways listener, you know I believe that mindset is the key to success, and so does Truist. That's why they created their incredible resource, Money and Mindset. It's full of tips to help you with your finances and your well-being. You can get articles, quizzes, calculators, and even great podcasts. I was on one of them, all for free and for anyone to use. Anyone. You can go to check it out free at truist.com/money and mindset. Truist.com/money and mindset. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. My special guest is iconic speaker, iconic philanthropist, activist, entrepreneur, Tavis Smiley, but we just call him Tavis. Finish that story, then I want to talk about something you've got exciting that's coming up. So finish that story, and I want to tell people about something that can be a blessing to them in their careers. Go ahead, Tavis.
I appreciate it. So BET calls me, asks me if I'm interested in moderating, hosting this show for a week for 1 week in DC. I said no. Called second time, I said no. They called third time. My agent says, Tavis, just go to DC for a week. They're gonna take care of all your hotel expenses and pay you, and you'll have a great time in DC for a week. And when you get done, we'll have a sizzle reel of how great a host you can be on television. Right. So we can use that to get you a TV show at some point down the road. So I agreed to do it. Long story short, my agent tells BT, okay, Tavis says he will do this. When do you want him to come to DC? And BT says to my agent, we got all these people that want to do this and everybody's agreed to do it, but nobody wants to go the first week. Would Tavis be interested in, going the first week? My agent calls me and I said, sure, why not? Because my thing is, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
That's right. There you go.
And so I agreed to go for the first week. And you know how this story ends, right? After I did the first week, nobody got a shot.
Nobody else got a shot.
and that is how I got on BET for 5 years. Nobody got a shot after that first week. And so there's so many lessons I've taken from that.
Oh man, there's some pearls out of that.
You can take it and run with it, Willie. You know what I'm saying.
Oh man, look, okay, now I'm gonna take some of these pearls. Number one is that his brand even got him the opportunity. He created a brand that spoke of excellence. Keep being excellent. Be excellent wherever you're planted. I mean, just bloom. He was in a small 1 minute messaging that led to commentary, that led to opportunities. And then BT got wind of it. And then they asked him to do it. He said, I don't want to move to DC. I don't want to move to DC. I don't want, but they said, please just come. Would you do the first week? Because nobody wants to do the first week. But his excellence, folks. Dr. King, we know him as Dr. King as a civil rights leader, but he really also was a excellence developer. He taught us to develop excellence. As a man is called to be a street sweeper, he's a sweet street so well that all the hosts of heaven will say, there lives a great street sweeper.
Come on, Willie Jolley. Yeah.
That's what Tavis taught us in that lesson. But speaking of excellence, you've got a tool or a new class or program. And I want my listeners to hear about this because you're one of the great communicators on the planet. You're one of the greatest on the planet. And you've got intellectual capital that you can share with people and how they can improve and develop themselves and their communication skills, their talk and communication to whether it's in their job, whether it's in their profession, or whether it's in their home. And you've got a course, I believe it is, that will tell people about this new option.
Thank you for the question, for the opportunity to share, because I'm very excited about this. I've done a lot of stuff in my career, but nothing has excited me in a long time like this opportunity. So I've been doing this for almost 40 years. And over the course of that 40-year period, I've had the honor of talking to pretty much everybody. I've talked to presidents and dictators and the Pope and Castro and I've talked to everybody over the course of my career. Dr. Willie Jolley, I've had a chance to interview.
Well,
so I've talked to everybody over these almost 40 years. And in the process of doing that, I've learned something about what I call the art of conversation. Conversation is a skill. And like any skill, it can be taught.
Yes.
So I've thought about this for years. And I've been asked to do certain things and teach at colleges. I've never had a chance to actually do that. But I decided that this year, I am going to finally teach what all these years have taught me about how to curate great conversation.
Wow.
And so it's really about the anatomy of a great conversation and how you make it happen.
Wow.
And so we announced not too long ago that we are going to teach a course this year on a platform called Maven. That's Maven. And we're teaching a course about how to curate great conversations. And if you go to tavistalks.com, that's my platform, Tavis Talks, TAVIS TALKS, tavistalks.com. You can learn everything you need to know about this course, about when I'm teaching it, about how to get in the classroom. All the details about what I'm going to be teaching can be found at tavistalks.com. But again, I've done this for so long, and I've learned so many things about how great conversation happens. And it starts with curiosity. If you're not a curious person like Willie Jolley, you can't be a great conversationalist if you're not curious to begin with.
Yes.
But I'm going to talk about curiosity. I'm going to talk about generous listening, charitable listening, your superpower.
Yes.
The better you listen, the better conversationalist you're going to be.
And that's a skill. And listening is a skill.
That's a skill. So I don't care what profession you're in, if you're a podcaster, if you're a professional, everybody engages in conversation. And again, most of us want to make the most of that dialogue. And so I'm teaching this course. Again, it's called The Art of Conversation. And if you go to tavistalks.com, all the details are there about how you can join the class.
I want to encourage people to go to tavistalks.com. Look at the videos. Now, he tells there's one video that tells about this new course. But then you go down a little further. There's a second video. There's a sizzle reel of Tavis. And he has interviewed everybody. When I say everybody, Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, movie stars, politicians, and his ability to make everybody feel comfortable in that chair. That's a gift and a skill. And he took the gift of being open and curious and wanting to talk to people and created a skill. You know, Michael Jordan said, talent is God-given, but ability takes work. That's and so many people are introverts. My wife's an introvert, and she had to learn how to have a conversation and networking. She developed that skill. This is something you can develop, folks. I highly recommend if you're a person who's in business, you need to be able to communicate effectively. If you are a person who's a entrepreneur, you definitely got to be a communicator. If you are a relationship, you got to be able to sell your ideas to your spouse or your partner or your children. I'm highly recommending a course taught by Tavis Smiley on conversations. This is a no-brainer. This is no-brainer. Okay, I highly recommend everybody do this. This will help you grow your business, grow your future, and grow your finances. Well, I want to keep going on how this guy builds a business, though. Now, you just said something a little while ago that I thought was profound, and I want people to understand. In my book, Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better, I say the difference between being rich and being wealthy is that you get rich from what you do. You get wealthy by what you own. Okay. And anybody can own something. Okay. They can own stocks. They can buy, they don't care what color you are to buy stocks. Okay. They don't care. You can own real estate, you can own crypto, but you can own something if you're willing to be disciplined. So that's what I want to talk about. Your discipline. Okay. You had to have discipline that when you got the money from working, that you didn't just say, okay, I'll just keep working and get a check. I'm gonna take some of that money and I'm gonna do without for a while. And I'm gonna live below my means, and I'm gonna build a building that I own for my business. That wasn't easy. I know already. I know it wasn't easy. The radio station, they don't just give folks radio stations. That wasn't easy. So how do we help people get a mindset that it's going to take some discipline and some sacrifice to be able to build a wealth position? Okay, let's talk about that.
No, well, the short answer is, and you are the perfect example of this, and I'm a living epistle myself. I've been on this journey for years now, and what I've realized is there's no substitute for doing the work.
Right.
There just is no substitute for doing the work.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be something, but everybody don't want to do nothing.
Right.
You know, but there's just no way around having to do the work. And for me, to your point about discipline, I have always lived beneath my means, not my privilege, but beneath my means.
Yep.
And that comes from being from a family of 10 people.
Right.
10 kids, my mom, my dad, and my big mama. So I know what it's like. I know what it's like to struggle. And I have never, ever forgotten what that was like. So I have always been careful to not overspend, to not, I'm not trying to ice and trying to floss. And, I said in the talk the other day that too many of us spend money that we don't have to buy stuff we don't need.
Yes.
Trying to impress folk we don't even like.
Amen. That's the truth.
We spend money we don't have, buying stuff we don't need, trying to impress folk we don't even like.
Yes.
And so I've just been fortunate to have never gotten caught up in that. So I invested my money well. And for me, it really started with real estate. I invested in a lot of real estate here in LA, residential real estate, commercial real estate. That's why I mentioned the office building that I'm talking to you from right now here in LA, in Leimert Park, historic Leimert Park. So for me, I just started investing. Right. And the Lord just sort of, added to my investments and blessed me in that regard. And so that discipline for me really starts with coming from that family and watching the discipline that my father had. Okay. Watching how disciplined my mother was. And so I can't say that I didn't get it honest. I mean, I learned it from my parents, but it's held me in good stead for all these years.
Well, I think that's a great lesson that we can glean wisdom from our parents if we're willing to look and listen and think about, let me learn from this. I ain't got to always agree with everybody, but I can learn. My grandmother had a beauty shop in West Philadelphia. She bought the home and it had a business attached to it. And she worked hard. She scrimped and saved to get this home that had a business so she could walk from her home right through a little cubbyway to her beauty shop. She rented the stalls so that she would have extra income, and she made a product that would help grow women's hair. My mama learned from her mama. My mama was a school teacher. So she taught school during the day, but we rented rooms in our home to graduate students at Howard. And then my mama sold World Book Encyclopedia on the weekends and the evenings, and then Dynamite and Shackley vitamins when she wasn't doing the rest, so she can have revenues for us to look. And I learned from that. So
I ain't mad at your mama, Willie Jolley. I ain't mad at your mama, man.
So folks, we're learning and we want you to learn. Look, we're going to take one more quick break. We're going to come back. We got more with Tavis Smiley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way show. And for sure, the best is yet to come. We'll be right back.
Motivated, highly motivated, gonna take it to the top. Motivated, highly motivated, I'm never gonna stop. I had a job I really hated. It made me sick, but it got me motivated. I knew that this was not where I was meant to be. I didn't want to stay, but I was too afraid to leave. Then one day I got my check, there was almost nothing there. I went to the boss, he laughed and said he didn't care. My kids were at home hungry, I was about to lose my home. That's when I decided I had to make it on my own. Said I, gonna take it to the top. I said I.
Hey, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, here to thank Truist Bank for their sponsorship of the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show and podcast. Now, if you're a longtime Wealthy Ways listener, you know I believe that mindset is the key to success, and so does Truist. That's why they've created their incredible resource, Money and Mindset. It's full of tips to help you with your finances and help you with your well-being. You can get articles, quizzes, calculators, and hey, even more podcast information that will bless you, all for free and for anyone to use. Check it out today at truist.com/money and mindset. Truist.com/money and mindset. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care, and Truist Bank is a member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show and podcast. Again, if you're listening on the podcast, subscribe, follow, share, comment. We want you to become part of our community and tell everybody you know about it. My special guest, he is iconic. He is a media icon. He's an activist. He's an entrepreneur, but he goes by one name, then everybody knows him. Tavis, just Tavis. And he's my friend. And I'm so grateful for that friendship. Tavis, you were telling about how you had to work hard. And your mama, you learned from them. But then you built this media. I mean, this radio station. This is the crux of your empire, that you are one of the best radio communicators in history, in my estimation. And the fact that you can pull it out, you've done television, you've done BET, you've done PBS, you've done media. How do you continue to grow yourself, to grow your possibilities?
Yeah. So I have a simple philosophy, and every time God allows me to achieve what I'm working on, I ask myself, what's the next biggest thing? What is the next thing? So every year on my birthday is September 13th.
Oh, we're 10 days apart, by the way.
When's yours?
September 3rd.
Okay, cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Okay.
Every year on my birthday, I sit down and whatever else I do that day, I spend some time with myself in solitude. And I write down a list of things. Personal, I divide the list into two parts. These are the personal things I want to work on over the next year of my life. And these are the professional goals I have for the next year of my life.
Oh, good.
Every year on my birthday, I pull out that list from the year prior.
Wow.
And I ask myself, how did I do on the things I said I was going to work on?
Wow.
Personally and professionally. And usually I can check most of those things off. Not always, but usually.
Yes.
And then I write the list for the coming year. Now, some people call these New Year's resolutions. I don't do this on January 1. I do it on the day that God allowed me to come into the world.
Wow.
On my birthday. So what do I want to accomplish between now and next year?
Wow.
And so it is literally the pattern of doing that year in and year out. It always gives me an opportunity to write down the goals, again, personally and professionally, that I want to achieve the rest of my life. I've done that for more years than I can count. So I've literally lived my life 1 year at a time. But every year of my life, I know what I'm working on trying to achieve in the year that is to come. In some years, things happen, obviously, in your life and my life and all of our lives that don't expect. Sometimes I have more difficulty. Sometimes I have more blessings.
Yes.
At least I start the year every September 13th with a plan, with an agenda for what I'm trying to accomplish over the next year. That's been my way for most of my life.
Man, that's golden, folks. I mean, if you didn't get nothing else out of this interview, that one is golden. Okay. Tavis, you come to DC, you're giving a speech and doing an event, and I come to hear you. We go to lunch somewhere. Then we go to Howard University and we go to a class, or AU, my alma mater, or GW, or Georgetown, wherever. And we go to a class of young wannabe entrepreneurs. Give them a couple, you got us. If you're going to be successful in business and life, here's some, you got us.
Yeah. I'll give you three right quick, in no particular order. You got to know why you're doing what you're doing. I have found in my life and my career that so many people are just opportunists, and they don't really have they don't know what their why is for whatever pursuits they're engaged in. So why are you doing this?
Yes, that's right.
Why does it matter to you?
Yes.
That's the first. You got to know why you're doing whatever it is that you're doing.
Good.
Number two, you got to be committed.
Yes.
And there's, again, we said earlier, there's no way around the hard work, but you have to be committed to that thing because it's not going to come easy.
Right.
The third thing I put on my list is that you got to trust your instincts. You got to trust your instincts because people will be in this ear, folk will be in this ear, stuff comes at you, but you have got to learn how to trust your own instincts. And if you can't do that, then you start, blowing like a piece of paper in the wind.
Yeah, you whiff and waffle. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's right.
All right.
And my final you gotta is what you and I were talking about earlier. You gotta trust in something. You gotta believe in something bigger than you.
Amen.
And for you and me, that's God. And those are my you got us for today.
Amen. I love that. It made me think, as you were saying, that the great philosopher named Goethe said, until one is committed, there's hesitance, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. But the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence, the hand of God, moves also. All manner of things happen that would never regularly have happened. Boldness has magic in it. Move on it now and don't give up. Tavis Smiley, you've got a great new opportunity, and I want to make sure people don't sleep on this. You've got a great new opportunity to help people to grow themselves, grow their thinking, grow their business by growing their communications and conversation ability. And that's a teachable skill. Please tell them where they can get access to that.
Short answer is this. I believe that conversation is the new collateral, right?
Yes.
Conversation is the new collateral, and you need to make sure that you know how to do that. So I'm teaching a class called The Art of Conversation. The Art of Conversation. Go to tavistalks.com. That's tavistalks.com for all the details about the course, about what the classes are, about how you can tap in. But I've been blessed to do this for a lot of years. I love what I do, and I am humbled that many people think I'm pretty good at it.
Yes.
And what I want to do now at this point in my life and career is to teach what these years have taught me about how to curate great conversation. So again, tavistalks.com for all the details about this class called The Art of Conversation. And Willie Jolley, speaking of great conversation, you are an amazing conversationalist. I love you like a fat kid loves cake. And I thank you for this opportunity, my friend.
Man, I'm honored to have you as my guest, and it's so good to have you to share from your wealth of knowledge, as well as your parents. Your parents have inspired me. Your parents to have 10 children, to feed all y'all, and to keep y'all clothed, and then for your mama to make cakes and pies and whatever else she made, for your father to start a business. Now, people in the service work hard. They work long. And for him to have a side business where they do industrial cleaning and to build, T.D. Jake's father did similar. And when I had him on the show, he said similar, that his parents, they were willing to do the uncomfortable to get to the comfortable. They were willing to do what others were not willing to do to get what others can't have. And that's what you and your family have been able to show us in this interview. And I love this goal setting. I just want to go back to that for 1 second. Folks, I hope y'all understand. For those who listen all the time, y'all know I am big on goals and how don't do New Year's resolutions. They're a waste of time. They feel good. You write them down. Scripture says, write the vision, make it plain that he that reads may run the race. So you got to write it down and visit it. And he visits it once a year. What did I plan to do? Hey, how did I do? Didn't quite get it. Let me adjust that. Here's what I did that was good. And then write a new plan. Folks, if you just take that, do that as your birthday gift to yourself. Your birthday gift to yourself this year is to write your goal. In fact, if you need help, I got a goal setting class, folks, and it's on my website. Go to winwithwillie.com, winwithwillie.com. Look for the goal setting, goal achieving class. Take it. And what I encourage you to do, sit down in front of the computer with your family, your kids, have a pad and pencil. I send you through exercises. And Tavis just told you the importance of goal setting and how, if you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to be committed, and if you're willing to trust God, work hard and work smart. He has become an entrepreneur. He owns his radio station. He owns the building he's in. And if you've never heard him on stage, you have. I heard him at the DC Convention Center one year, and I slipped up in there and I stood in the back. This dude, he is one of the best. So Tavis Smiley, I want to thank you again for being on my show, but being my friend. Yeah. And for all you have done for our community, for our country, and for people globally. Thank you, my man.
No, the pleasure's all mine. I'm always here for you. You know that. I appreciate your work and your witness, and I see it as just that. It is a work and a witness. And I told some friends the other day, you got the coldest moniker ever. Win with Willie. I love it. Win with Willie. That's the cold thing, Willie Jolley. I love that thing, man. Win with Willie.
Thank you, Tavis. Hold on a second, and then we're going to take a quick picture when this is over. Folks, I want to thank Tavis again. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank Brother Muhammad, who is Tavis's producer. And Brother Muhammad's from Baltimore. He a B-more boy, and he ended up in LA. Thank him for organizing and working on this. I want to again thank our friends at Truist Bank who have so supported this program and said, we are all in with you. And so I want to thank them for their support. I want all of y'all to go to truist.com, truist.com, get some of the free resources, as well as I got my mortgage at Truist. They are my mortgage holder, and they are wonderful to work with. They are caring and comforting and help people when you want to grow your financial literacy. So go to truist.com. When you start with care, you build a different kind of bank. And then, folks, I want to encourage everybody to go to Rich is Good. wealthyisbetter.com. Rich is good, wealthyisbetter.com. This book, I'm so blessed. I've been on interviews after interview, including Tavis's show. I've had so many of these hosts who said, you know what? This book reminds me of a sequel to Think and Grow Rich. You're onto something, Willie Jolley. And I say this book didn't come from me. It came through me. It's what I've been taught, and I'm teaching what I've been taught over these 20 years on XM by billionaires like David Stewart and Bob Johnson and Sheila Johnson and David Rubenstein and Bill Marriott. I'm just teaching what they taught me and how you can do it. Encouraging everybody, go to winwithwillie.com. Get some of the free from the resources. Rich is good, wealthy is better.com. And then last but not least, join me, folks, every Monday night. Monday night at 9 o'clock Eastern for the Jolly Marriage Show. Dee and I have been married 40 years. Haven't had an argument in 38 years. We got a marriage book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. Join us at 9 o'clock on A Jolly Marriage on Facebook. The Real Willie Jolley on Instagram and the Willie Jolley on LinkedIn. And then you can see the Jolly Marriage Show on YouTube 24/7. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. And for sure, your best is still yet to come. Have a great week on purpose. God bless you. Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode, and I hope you got something of great value. And I hope that you were inspired, you were motivated, you were empowered, and you were encouraged to live your best life. I hope this information and this inspiration will help you to do more, be more, and to achieve more. That's the goal why I started this program, and I hope it helped you in a mighty way. Now, I ask you to make sure and that you take full advantage of all the resources that came through this program. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/gift and get some of the free resources that we have there for you. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/shop to get some of the books that we have created, that we've labored over to make sure that they will deliver a powerful message to you. I hope you go to williejolly.com/billionaire, williejolly.com/billionaire, or wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get the box that it will inspire your whole family, or get the bag of books. Make this a great day, a great week, a great month. And remember, it is true that you are blessed and all things are possible for them that believe. So make the most of the belief that you have now in your future. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Have a great day.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.